Hello everyone, this is Junema A. Samiling, your OLC, and welcome to the G course, Understanding the Self. Now for our learning outcomes, as learners, you are expected to first discover the meaning of psychology, second, list various fields of psychology, third, define various fields of psychology. Then we have lastly discover the history of psychology. So for now, we will be having the lesson on psychology. Now, what is psychology? So psychology comes from the Greek word psyche, and it means breath, spirit, or soul, while logia, it means study of the mind. That is why this is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. So how we behave and how we process everything in our mind, okay, these are all part of what we call psychology. Now, another thing about psychology, it's an empirical science. So it's empirical wherein we are using evidences, we are using info, ideas, data, facts. Okay, and from all of this gathered data or facts, then a psychologist or a person, okay, who studies mental processes and human behavior would come up, okay, with a theory, okay, with a certain idea, okay, hypothesis, assumption maybe, okay, based on this study. So this is, okay, a way of knowing about how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. Now, what is a theory? So a theory is a general set of principles. So this is used to propose, I should say, to explain how a number of separate facts are related. So theory would allow us to propose reasons for relationships. So what are the relationships of this idea with that idea? Then we have to derive explanation to come up with a certain explanation out of this problem, out of this issue, through the gathered data or facts. Then make predictions to predict, to come up with hypothesis, to come up with an assumption based on all this gathered facts or data. Now to continue, we have the goals of psychology. So the psychology seeks to describe, explain, predict, and influence our behavior and our mental processes. That is why it's through psychology that we can be able to also understand how people behave and how people think. Now, what do psychologists do? So what do they do? First, of course, research, since there's a need of extensive research or study when it comes to the study of the human mind and the behavior. Then also, when you say research, it could be through the application of pure research or through the use of the basic or applied research. So nowadays, I think we are more familiar with what we call the basic research or the applied research, wherein all the gathered data, okay, would be used in order for them to come up with a certain result. Then we have practice, wherein clinical or counseling are involved, then teaching. So the psychologists, okay, can also teach aside from to practice their clinical psychology or counseling as a form of psychology. Then under the study of psychology, it's also important for us to know the fields. So what are the fields of psychology? First, we have clinical psychology, and it involves the use or conducting of tests and examinations in order for them to assess the mental health of a person. So if you have the physical health, we have also the mental health. Okay, so how the person handles situations, how the person processes everything. So that's mental health. Then counseling. So this is a branch of psychology, quite similar to clinical. However, counseling would deal with common problems wherein the person would seek advice from an expert, okay, based on the certain circumstances or situations he or she is in. So the goal is to, of course, to resolve problems in marriage, in work. It could be out of this stress, anything under the sun, for as long as this has something to do with how the person would actually deal with all these issues or problems in life. Then we have school psychology, and the goal of this is to improve a student's performance in school. So it's is to make the students' academic performance better. Then educational, quite similar with school. However, educational has something to do with the use of testing, using of different activities in line with the curriculum used by this institution or by this school. Or it could be they would conduct experiments, okay, to ensure validity and reliability of the tests and other special needs of the students. Developmental psychology, the goal of this is to study the developmental changes in human behaviors as we grow older, as we become adults. Of course, there are changes when it comes to our behavior. So that is the goal or the aim of this developmental psychology. So the behaviors of man from birth to death. Then we have personality. So when you say personality, the aim is to examine the differences and similarities as to the person's personality and how all these personalities reflect on our actions. Then social psychology, of course, this is something to do with how we interact, how we deal with our environment, with other people. Then environmental psychology, it focuses on how we can be able to improve our physical environment. It could be the school, it could be the environment that we have in our community, it could be the church. Okay, so anything about environment, okay, we're in. This is something to do with our relationship with the society where we belong. Then we have experimental. It focuses on the conduct of experiments and research laboratories. So the use of the machines, the technologies that we have, wherein all these things are used in order for them to study the mental processes. Then industrial, this is something to do with the industries, the companies, institutions, establishments, wherein we have here the three subparts, the organizational, human factors, and consumer. Wherein the goal is to make sure that the person, for example, an employee, is suitable to a certain job or task inside of this institution or organization. And we have also health psychology. So the goal of this would be to use, okay, psychology for the treatment or prevention of diseases. Then sports, psychological principles in studying activities related to sports. Forensic, so this is used in order for them to study or to profile a certain suspect of a certain crime or assess the mental state of the victim. So it's quite a lot easier for these people to get into the head, okay, of the suspect. Why is it that this person is having this kind of series of murders, maybe? Okay, so what's going on in his or her head? Okay, so that has to be studied through forensic so that they can be able also to trace, okay, the places where this person would go and be able to finally catch this suspect, okay, of this crime. Then evolution of psychology, I guess I will just run through this since this is something to do with the different psychologies, the evolution of the different theories based from the psychologists. Okay, so starting from 428 to 347 BC, so we have psychologist Plato, and then we have the names Aristotle, Thomas Hobbes, Rene Descartes, John Locke. Okay, then the rest of these known psychologists up to the 20th and 21st centuries. Okay, so we have Harry Triandis as the last name given there. All right, so we're in all the psychologists would just simply, it could be adopt from one theory or from different theories or ideas, then they would come up their own or try to expound this theory of a well-known psychologist or person under the study of psychology. Okay, so that's how they do it. And that's how the study of psychology evolved through time. Now, here are the approaches of psychology. So we have what we call structuralism, and the known name here we have Edward Titchener. Okay, so structuralism can be broken into the two. So we have objective and subjective. So when we say objective sensations, we are pertaining to our senses, but when we say subjective, we are pertaining to our dreams, emotions, our memories. Then we have also functionalism. Now, in functionalism, the known name here would be William James, wherein functionalism is quite similar also with that of structuralism. However, there's this addition of behavior in terms of the mind and consciousness. So there's this use direct observations to supplement introspection or how we actually view our thoughts, our emotions. And this is influenced by Darwin's theory of evolution or what we call the natural selection. Now, another thing about behaviorism, okay, it focuses on learning what is observable or what is measurable. So the known name here would be John B. Watson. So he's a proponent of the Little Albert study. Another name under behaviorism, B.F. Skinner, a psychologist who developed operant conditioning theory, wherein this kind of theory focuses on the study of the human behavior, although they use animals for them to study. Okay, this or to apply this operant conditioning theory, wherein there would be reward or a certain application of a certain theory, then they would just simply observe how the animal would behave in such reward, and the animal is conditioned in such a way, okay, that the animal is responding on this particular stimuli or stimulus. Then we have also he's known for Beyond Freedom and Dignity, which was produced or written in 1971. Now, under Gestalt psychology, the names, okay, that are well known for this would be Max and Wolfgang. So when I say Gestalt, it's the study of our perception, the influence on thinking and problem solving. So how we solve problems, how we think, how we perceive things. Okay, that's Gestalt. Now, how about psychoanalysis? So this was founded by Sigmund Freud. And when I say psychoanalysis, it makes unconscious conscious. So it restrains trauma through therapy. So this is what they are using right now as a therapy for those people who have traumas or for those people who would like to uh, remember things from their past that are already forgotten. Then cognitive affects behavior since everything works in the head and then we apply them. So the name here would be Edward C. Tolman. So it says here that animals could learn by observation. However, behavioral approach could not make sense anymore. So I guess for humans, okay, it's more applicable. Now, another thing about cognition affects behavior, George A. Miller, so research on memory, wherein he launched this, what we call cognitive revolution in psychology. Another thing we have from Cognition Affects Behavior, well-known name, Ulrich Nieser. So when I say cognitive psychology, this is concerned with higher order mental functions such as intelligence, thinking, language, memory, and decision making. Since cognition works in the head, in the mind, okay, we're in it it happens when we are analyzing, when we are deciding over things, when we are thinking, okay, applying critical thinking, then that's cognition. That's why it really affects how we behave. Now, psychology does not operate as a vacuum or a standalone study, okay, but of course it is also related, okay, from other with other sciences, or it draws facts, information from other related sciences. First, we have anthropology, which is the study of man's culture and man's past. Then we have sociology, of course, the study of the origin and evaluation of human society. Physiology, so it deals with the operations of the body parts, the body organs. Then biology, the study of life. Economics, so this is something to do with production, distribution, consumption. So since we are also humans, consuming, producing, distributing products, right? Then political science, okay, so this deals with the origin, organization, the principles, and operations of the government. So since the government is part of the society, and as humans we are part of the society, so definitely this is still connected with the study of psychology. Then chemistry, the composition and property of substances, the changes, okay, when it comes to the substances. So there are also chemicals in our body, and we intake chemical substances, right? So that could also affect how we actually behave. Then psychiatry, okay, the field of medicine that is concerned with the treatment of mental illness. All right, so those are the sciences related, okay, wherein psychologists can draw ideas or facts, okay, from all those sciences and be able to apply in the study of psychology, or all those sciences are related with the study of psychology. So for us to end this session, I have here a quote from Paul Valery, a French poet. So I got this from quotehd.com. It says here, the purpose of psychology is to give us a completely different idea of the things we know best. So I know that most of us, okay, we already know about ourselves. We are aware of our strengths and weaknesses in some ways. And I guess whatever ideas we already have, whatever knowledge and understanding we already have when it comes to our identity, when it comes to ourselves, I guess it's also important for us to learn how psychology can also affect this, and how psychology can even make this a completely different idea, or how can psychology make this a unique idea on how we actually perceive ourselves or our identity. And I do hope that you learn many things from this lesson, psychology.